But first, we turn to the conflict in the Middle East.
For the first time, the United States directly strikes Iran, prompting new fears of a global conflict and potential retaliation in the region.
Now, yesterday, President Trump announced via social media that the U.S. bombed 3 nuclear sites in Iran, claiming the mission was a success. And we now know more about what weapons were used and how the attack was planned. NBC 5's Jen Shans has been following this developing story all morning and has new details. Good morning, Jen.
Good morning, Christian and Kate. Moments ago, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth spoke from the Pentagon. We'll hear from him in just a moment. First, this operation was called Operation Midnight Hammer. More than 125 U.S. military aircraft were used, and this was the second largest B-2 mission ever flown, only exceeded by those after 9/11. Hegseth says this mission speaks to the strength of the U.S.-Israel alliance. He also urged Iran this morning to heed President Trump's warnings.
As President Trump has stated, the United States does not seek war. But let me be clear. We will act swiftly and decisively when our people, our partners, or our interests are threatened.
Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier.
Defense officials say this was a successful and very classified mission carried out around 2 a.m. local time, and that the U.S. achieved tactical surprise. At this time, it does not appear any Americans were hurt, but already Iran has launched missiles into Israel. Without congressional approval, the U.S. sent so-called bunker buster bombs to 3 nuclear sites in Iran: Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan. Iran's foreign minister didn't mince words this morning either while speaking to global media in Istanbul. He says Iran will consult with Russia's President Vladimir Putin tomorrow. He called this attack unprecedented and says it risks bringing the world into chaos.
The U.S. administration holds sole and full responsibility for the consequences of its actions, including the Islamic Republic of Iran's right to self-defense under the principles of the United Charter.
Now, experts say if the U.S. is planning an extended engagement, congressional support will be required, and that neither the American left or right seems keen to engage in a large-scale conflict in the Middle East. And in Washington, the question of the legality of these strikes coming from both sides of the political aisle. Meantime, Israel's prime minister has praised these strikes, saying it will change history. We know Iran has already fired missiles into Israel since the attack. It's also warned that U.S. bases in the region are vulnerable. Here in Chicago today at Federal Plaza, more than a dozen local groups are expected to hold a protest against this U.S. action. That is happening tonight at 5 o'clock. Much more to come. In the control room, Jen Shantz, NBC 5 News.
All right. Thank you so much for that new information, Jen. We appreciate it. A story we no doubt will be following.